Podcast presents.
Welcome to the EBS podcast about Nanodegrees. My name is Jim Seltenrijch and I'm the head of Master Studies here at the Estonian Business School. Today I'm joined by Sara Jahanmir and Alejandro Lamas, who will be talking about their Nanodegree, strategic and operational value creation. Sara and Alejandro, welcome. Could you first introduce yourselves and later on also, of course, your nano topic?
Thank you, Jim. My name is Sara Jahanmir. I am an associate professor of innovation and entrepreneurship at Neoma Business School in France. So I mainly teach topics related to entrepreneurship, to innovation, and value creation, and my research is aligned the same lines.
Thanks, Jim, for the invitation. My name is Alejandro Lamas. I am associate professor at Neoma Business School in the Department of Supply Chain. And in my research and in my work, I try to combine quantitative tools for supporting decision in supply chain and in business in general.
Okay, thank you very much for your introductions. So what about this strategic and operational value creation? What is this all about?
Good question. So, what's the purpose of any business actually? The purpose of any business is to create value, right? Not only for business owners and customers, but also for all stakeholders. We can talk about investors, employees, and suppliers, for example. Now, traditional models of value creation, they focus on firms' output and price mainly. So following these models, we see the purpose of every business. It would be to create and deliver value in a way that it will generate profit over costs, meaning that we look for enough paying customers within a short period of time so that we can get cash flow positive as soon as possible. But today, we think that this view of value creation is not sufficient because in today's competitive markets, value creation is an essential element of competitive advantage. So firms need to constantly rethink their strategies of creating value so that they can remain competitive and profitable. Now, in this dynamic environment, you're free to define what value creation is actually for you and your organization, right? So what we would like to do is to help you in this Nanodegree to specify that and to describe what actually value is for your organization. We help you identify potential sources of value, and we provide you with tools and skills to design processes and operations in order to create and capture that value. Having this in mind, we designed this Nanodegree with 4 different modules. One module is the organizational value creation, which is the module that I will teach. And Alejandro will teach value creation through supply chain, process and operation design, and demand management. These modules are all designed for participants to develop necessary skills for value creation in both personal and professional life. So it's going to be both challenging and fun at the same time.
Okay, this sounds like really, really interesting. And this topic of value creation is definitely a big challenge here, not only in Estonia, but also beyond the whole Europe and even the world, I would say, especially considering the startup community that we have here. The struggle for value creation is very, very wide. So, Alejandro, I would like to move to you. What are the 3 main reasons that our participants should join your Nanodegree?
Well, the first reason is because value creation is a transversal and multidisciplinary topic. And based on that, we have developed a program that see individually what the different perspective of a firm, traditional perspective of a firm can create value creation, can create value, like innovation, supply chain, strategy, marketing, revenue management, among others. But also we see the different interaction and synergies that could occur between the different perspectives in order to create value in a different way than the traditional value creation perspective. The second reason is because our program has a good combination and balance between quantitative and qualitative tools. Through the qualitative tools, we can identify the main strategies that a firm should follow in order to create value and to identify also the different problems that we can find there. But also with the quantitative tools, we can implement solution in an efficient way. What do I mean by efficient way? By being economic from the point of view of the scarce resources that a company could have in order to create value. And the third reason why someone should join our program is because we meet the professional expectation. With what I have described, I think we can see that we identify the problems of value creation from a practical perspective, and we see how we can implement solutions for that. But not only for today, we are preparing the participants of this nano degree in order that they can adapt in the future to create values for the scenarios that they could feel that they could face in the future. That we don't know what will happen, but we provide the skills and the tools for the participant of this program in order that they are prepared for that.
Okay, so other than just having theoretical knowledge, you're also very much focusing up on these practical aspects within your nano, which is great because that adds even value beyond the university. Uh, why is this topic so hot at the moment? As I said already, I know that a lot of startups here in Estonia are struggling with this topic of value creation, but I also assume that a lot of, let's call them traditional organizations, are struggling with this. Why do you think that this is the case?
Well, I think the value creation is something essential for the firm, as Sara has mentioned it, because the firms exist because the value creation, because they can create value. If a company cannot create value, there is no reason to exist. And for that reason, there are many traditional approaches for creating value creation. So it's not something new. But what we are doing now with our program and understanding the needs of today, why this topic is too hot today, is because we live in a really competitive environment. The company should create value beyond the borders of the company itself. The company should explore the possibility of creating value through working with competitors or to having some competitive advantage. At the end of the day, the problem of value creation today is how to be innovative in the way how the company can create a competitive advantage through value creation.
Thank you, Alejandro, for a great answer to this question. So, Sarah, because there's such a wide range of topics in your nano, who should be interested in this nano degree? Who should join this?
In fact, when we were designing this nano degree, we were thinking about decision makers or those who aim at getting into such roles. So we would like to offer people with decision making power or people who would be in such positions to develop their skills of value creation. And we also would like to emphasize on the fact that we welcome participants from all fields, whether in manufacturing or service sector, because the frameworks that we discuss in our nano degree can be applied in any context and at local and global levels. For example, the example that you mentioned with for firms, startup founders, indeed, this is a great course for people who are interested in developing firms or who are already founders of firms because they will have a variety of tools that they can adjust to their own context within their own decision making processes. Also, as Alejandro mentioned, our course or our nano degree basically offers a balance of quantitative and qualitative tools. So if you are someone with qualitative background who wants to enhance a little bit your quantitative knowledge, or if you are someone with quantitative background and you want to learn a little bit more of qualitative topics, so this is basically the course for you to create a balance between these two topics and the tools that we propose.
Okay, that sounds really, really interesting, and like you have a lot of ground to cover within this short period of the nano degree. Can you highlight for our listeners what are the main skills or fields of knowledge that they will get from your nano? Sarah, maybe you would like to start.
Sure. So in the organizational value creation, we apply the value creation wheel together with diverse business tools and techniques to create value because our goal, sorry, our goal in this nano is to provide you with tools that will allow your company to grow in complex and dynamic environments. We also help participants to identify unexplored opportunities. We illustrate how to build unique experiences, for example, for customers. And we also address how to remain competitive in highly saturated market, how to create blue oceans. And finally, in my module, I also explain how to use business models to support value creation through launching new products, new technologies and services, and also certain tools in order to achieve sustainable growth. Because it's not only about creating a business, it's not only about creating value, but it's also about being sustainable and having a sustainable growth over time. And Alejandro will explain the other three.
Yes, we have three other modules, and these three other modules are, let's say, they have more operational perspective. They are aligned with the organizational perspective that has just described the first module. But here we see some specific topics that help us to understand how to implement these different strategies. The first module is related to supply chain management. Here we see how the supply chain should be aligned with the strategy of the firm, and also to understand what is the role of the supply chain management in the value creation, and how we are efficient in bringing the raw material from the supplier of my supplier to bring the final product to the customer of my customer. The second module is about operation, about the design of the operation and about the processes for creating value. Here we see how the company had to prioritize between the different activities that they had to do, and also how to be efficient in the use of resources in order to meet the customer expectation. For example, how to use the production capacity, how to use machines, how to use the stock. And the third module is a little bit different. It's not about how the company should react to the customers. It's more about how the company could influence the customers. So it's more about demand management. Here we will see how the company should select different customers in order to create more value, and also how the strategies of prices of different to have different prices could influence the decision of the customers to choose our firm and not the competitor firm, and this will give us a competitive advantage in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sara, and thank you, Alejandro, for this really thorough explanation of your Nanodegree. We are super excited to have such an international team to come and join us. I think hopefully we can create a lot of value within EBS, but also beyond that. To our listeners, thank you very much for joining us. The Nanodegree Strategic and Operational Value Creation will take place in the spring of 2022.